Hello and welcome to 502 Sessions. I'm your host, Brian Kirby. My guest today is songwriter and vocalist Colm O'Brien. Originally from Dublin, Ireland, Colm hails from a family of musicians that span many generations. Before moving to the United States in 1999, Colm worked with some of Ireland's top bands, and he performed on Irish national TV and radio. Once in the United States, he started performing with many local bands, and he set about doing some solo work and formed some of his own groups. In 2005, he recorded his first solo album entitled It Is What It Is. It Is What It Is was voted one of the top 10 Irish albums of the year by the Irish Voice, which is America's largest circulating Irish newspaper. In 2011, Colm recorded a follow-up CD called Back to Work. Back to Work has achieved wide critical acclaim, and today Colm O'Brien will be performing much of his original material for us. Colm O'Brien.
The old politician and a biblical vision stood and smiled at me at my front door. He was doing the rounds again with a sparkle and a grin like he did a few years before. He was looking for me vote in a cashmere coat with the lorry load of lies he had in store. I couldn't listen to the man and I couldn't shake his hand, so I turned me back and slammed the door. You'll never see him round, but the chips are coming down, and trouble isn't very far away. When the rent is overdue and there's no work to do, he won't listen to a word you say. But come election time, he'll be done up to the nines, telling you he's just a man to lead the way. Then it's off at him again, and you'll only see him when the time is coming up for polling day. I thought he'd some bloody knave to request if he could save another term up in the Dáil. When you know he'd send his granny or his kids if he had any, and he'd never do a lick of work at all. With his fashionable tie and an automatic lie, he convinced you he's the man who's on the ball. With his counterfeit grin, he'd say anything to win another term up in the Dáil. I saw him on the telly with his overfed belly and his well-practiced crocodile smile. He denied the allegations and began his protestations, though we knew that he was lying all the while. He swore on the Pope, he never saw the envelope, but his suits had taken on a nicer style. The official explanation was he only served the nation while he added to his monetary pile. I thought he'd some bloody knave to request if he could save another term up in the Dáil. When you know he'd sell his granny or his kids if he had any, and he'd never do a lick of work at all. With his fashionable tie and an automatic lie, he convinced you he's the man who's on the ball. With his counterfeit grin, he'd say anything to win another term up in the Dáil. Distracted confessions of the legal profession for a bargain 20 million an hour. We'll charge enormous costs if the case be won or lost, but don't worry if the taste that this is sour, cause it's the taxpayers' money and we think it very funny that they think that we'll convict the man in power. We look after one another, he's one of our brothers, and we'll never lock away one of ours. I thought he'd some bloody knave to request if he could save another term up in the Dáil. Well, you know he'd sell his granny or a schizophrenia and he'd never do a lick of work at all. With his fashionable tie and an automatic lie, he convinced you he's the man who's on the ball. With his counterfeit grin, he's saying nothing to win, another time up in the doll. I thought he had some bloody nerve to request if he could serve another term up in the doll. Well, you know he'd sell his granny or his schizophrenia and he'd never do a lick of work at all. With his fashionable tie and an automatic lie, he convinced he's the man who's on the ball. With his counterfeit grin, he'd say I'm not to win, another term up in the doll. This next song is a song of emigration, and it's called All Right Son. You came to make a fortune cause the streets are alive with gold. You believed the exaggerations and the stories you were told. But soon you came to realise all isn't as it seems. You're working like the devil just to hold on to your dreams. And the farmer doesn't like you cause you're not under his skin. Bigotry's not just reserved for colour of the skin. He decides to put the head down and get on with the job, and thank the Lord for every hour of sleep you get to rob. All right, son, you know your time is nearly done. No need to work your fingers to the bone. Cause early in the morning when the day is slowly dawning, you'll be heading for the place you call your home. Hey, up. Now you've taken all you can, it's time to get out on your own. You're working even harder for your dream of going home. And every hour you spend is making money on the side. It's the achievement of the dream that is keeping you alive. You've learned to run from work and now you're making up the rails. Still you have to play the game and suffer all the fouls. You start to make some headway, begin to see the light, and realise your time is now to get on with the fight. All right, son, you know your time is nearly done. No need to work your fingers to the bone. Cause early in the morning when the day is slowly dawning, you'll be heading for the place you call your home. Now you made a ton of money, and that's all that you deserve. And you think about the life you've had and those you've had to serve. But there's always something missing from your spirit deep inside. Oh, it wasn't just for money that you swam against the tide. You know you've crossed the finish line and now your race is run. And you're looking back at all you've seen and all that you've done. You begin to hear the calling in the mellow light of dawn, and realise your time has come, you must be moving on. All right, son, you know your time is nearly done. No need to work your fingers to the bone. Cause early in the morning when the day is slowly dawning, you'll be heading for the place you call your home. All right, son, you know your time is nearly done. No need to work your fingers to the bone. Cause early in the morning when the day is slowly dawning, you'll be heading for the place you call your home. You'll be heading for the place you call your home. This next song that I'd like to do for you now is called Turn It On Around. This is a song that was on the It Is What It Is album. And it goes something like this. How many dreams must we trample on? How many wishes can't come true? How many times will we turn around and say, well, if this isn't right, then something else will do? How many lies must we tell ourselves before we ever see what's right? How many times can we convince ourselves that if we can't make out the sun, we'll just make do with night? Where are the men who give us prophecies? What happened to the guiding lights? Why have we turned our back on everything? Why have we given up the fight? Whatever happened to integrity? When did we sell our soul to hell? Whatever happened that we told ourselves that if we can't be heard, well then we'll make the just as well? Where are the saviors of our human race? Where are the keepers of the flame? When did we get the urge to look around, and if we can't take on the task, there's someone else to blame? Where are the men who give us prophecies? What happened to the guiding lights? Why have we turned our back on everything? Why have we given up the fight? We're on the risk of losing everything. We've tried to run it all to ground. It's not too late to convince ourselves that we can turn it all around. How many times have we told ourselves that we're the masters of it all? How many times can we control ourselves when all that we have built begins to crumble and to fall? When will we wake and start to look around and see ourselves for what we are? Will we be able to retrieve what we have left and realize that we may not have gone too far? Where are the men who gave us prophecies? What happened to the guiding lights? Why have we turned our back on everything? Why have we given up the fight? We're on the risk of losing everything. We tried to run it all to ground. It's not too late to convince ourselves that we can turn it all around. That we can turn it all around. That we can turn it all around. Now, this next song I'd like to do is a tribute to the storyteller. It's a song called Sound is a Pound. And it goes something like this. The fellas sat with his back to the bar, called for a rush with the wave of his hand. He drank down his pint with a satisfied smile, and it was then that the stories began. Well, the Guinness was deafening all round the room as the stories were flowed from inside. And he'd take us to places of wondrous wonders and him our mysterious guide. Well, I'd be sound as a pound if we could get this pint down of so many stories to tell. But the years have caught on me, and I think it's beyond me. I haven't been feeling so well. If I could tell one more tale and the hope to be gale, I feel I could lay down my crown. For me time's nearly up. If I could have a more sup, I'd be sound as a pound all round. He was there once a week in his satin coat, but nobody knew the man's name. He was a lover, a soldier, a gypsy, a rover, from whence his characters came. With the sound of his voice in an instant transported to imagination's broad land. And then he'd return us to reality's grasp with the memory of something more grand. Well, I'd be sound as a pound if we could get this pint down with so many stories to tell. But the years have caught on me, and I think it's beyond me. I haven't been feeling so well. If I could tell one more tale and the hope to be gale, I feel I could lay down me count. For me time's nearly up, if I could have a more sup, I'd be sound as a pound all round. And he told about heroes and legends and martyrs, and ordinary folk in his tales, of battles and banquets and mountains and rivers, fairies who lived in the vales. Keogh Cullen and Fionn and the heroes of Ireland, a symbol persona most real. And he conjured the images crafted in words in a warm atmosphere you could feel. Well, I'd be sound as a pound if we could get this point down. There's so many stories to tell, but the years have caught on me, and I think it's beyond me. I haven't been feeling so well. If I could tell one more tale and the hope to regale, I feel I could lay down me crown. For me time's nearly up, if I could have a more sup, I'd be sound as a pound all round. Someone lays on his seat at the bar, with his face looking haggard and wan. His whole head seemed heavy, and his hands were unsteady, and the light in his eye nearly gone. But he'd one more to tell, and he summoned the vision with all of the strength of his will. He related his last, then he set down his glass, and he sat on the bar still quite still. Well, I'd be sound as a pound if I could get this pint down, of so many stories to tell. But the years have caught on me, and I think it's beyond me. I haven't been feeling so well. If I could tell one more tale and the hope to regale, I feel I could lay down me crown. For me time's nearly up, if I could have a more sup, I'd be sound as a pound all round. Hey!
502 Sessions, I'm here with, I'll say, the fantastic Colm O'Brien. That sounds great.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I have a lot of questions for you, and I'm hoping that you want to talk a lot, but
Sure.
before we do that, let's just back up a little bit. So Ireland, some of the top bands, I read about the Prodigals. Let's start with the bands you were.
Well, in Ireland, I was playing with a band called Fatal Flower, which is the band I went professional with.
Wait a minute, Fatal Flower?
Flower.
Fatal
Yeah.
Flower.
Yeah. And 5-piece rock band, and that's how I arrived over here.
They came over for a tour?
No, we came over to live.
Oh, the entire band came?
Over, yeah. Oh. Because there wasn't any gigs in Ireland at the time. You know, I mean, particularly for bands playing original material, rock bands playing original material, there was very, very few gigs, so we couldn't make a living.
Well, the scene is that small?
That's the way it was, because in those days everybody was focusing on boy bands and all that kind of stuff, and that was the stuff that everybody wanted. So rock bands,
The boy bands.
really weren't. Yeah, I know. And so rock bands really weren't given any space or any time to play. So we decided we'll go to where we can get a gig, and we come over here. And but you know, I mean, this usually happens when a band emigrates. You know, I mean, after a couple of months, the thing started to fragment.
Oh, no kidding.
So there was 2 of the lads left, and the 3 of us that were left, we hooked up with a band called Hiring Fair, and that's when we first really started touring the States. And
you were based out of Boston?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did an awful lot of touring with them, and while I was on the road with them, I met the Prodigals for the first time. And shortly after I left the Hiring Fair thing, I got a call from the Prodigals to say that Ray Kelly was leaving the band, and would I take his place?
Wow.
So I was delighted to, because I was already a fan of the band, you know, me before even joining it.
And obviously they knew you.
Yeah, again from meeting down in Florida, you know, initially. And then we crossed paths again on the road, you know. And so that's where that came about. And then I went on the road with them for a year and a half, and that was where I really learned.
No kidding.
What it's like to be in a hard-working band on the road.
So you were literally on the road for a year and a half?
Pretty much, yeah. Wow. Yeah, except for the odd day off, you know.
They had that many gigs across the United States that they were busy that much?
We covered the country twice in a year and a half.
Playing 4 or 5 shows a week, or?
It depended. Sometimes 3-4 shows a week.
In the same location, or it'd be a one-nighter?
No, it'd be all over the place.
I mean 3-4 nights in one club, or one night here, one night there, and just traveling all the time?
Usually one night stands, unless it was a festival.
That is a lot
of
travel.
And then you might get 2 or 3 days out of it, you know. But I mean, again, that was rare. So
that is a lot of travel.
Oh, it was, yeah. I mean, I've seen more of this country, I think, than most Americans have.
Wow.
You know, and it's a fabulous place. And but yeah, I mean, it was very grueling physically, but it was hugely rewarding musically. I mean, they were and still are a fabulous band. So I learned an awful lot from playing with them.
Yep.
You know, so then in September of 2003, then I went back to a solo career as we had a baby on the way.
You want to stay home?
I did not want to be on the road that much away.
And they were still touring, so.
Oh yeah. But so everything was fine with the lads. They understood, and we're still very, very good friends. And so then that's when It Is What It Is, the Germa, that started. And that came out in 2005.
Had you been writing all along, or that's when you sat down and said, I'm going to write?
I don't sit down and write.
Okay.
I'm not one of these guys that can do that. You know, I mean, something has to happen, or there has to be some sort of spark.
Yeah, I wanted to talk. We'll talk about that later.
I'm not one of these prolific guys. I mean, I remember seeing an interview once with Paul McCartney, and he said, "Well, I decided that day that I was going to write a song." I said, "How can you do that? Yeah. You know, just suddenly decide that I'm going to write a song." You know, I can't write that way. There has to be something that happens, or you know, somebody has to say something, or whatever, and then that causes
something to set you off.
Yeah. Yeah, you usually get one little germ and then you just take that and run with it.
Yeah, I talk mostly when the groups come in, we talk about the writing process. And some people, even though they don't use the material, they will say, I'm going to sit down and write today, just to write and work some things out. And they might put it away for 10, 15 years and pull it out and just to work on the writing process.
Well, I mean, I think every writer's got bags and bags of, you know, bits of paper with lyrics on them stuffed all over the place, and I've got cassettes all over the place back at home.
Okay.
It was a question of getting the time to sit down and putting it all together.
And so that happened in 2005. You assimilated all that?
No, not really. The songs that went on, It Is What It Is, pretty much wrote themselves fairly quickly. For example, Another Term Up in the Doll. That was written in, I think, around about 20 minutes is all it took to write that. Wow. And that was about the political corruption, you know, going on back in Ireland and still going on. And but I suppose you could say that applies everywhere, but particularly in Ireland. So, you know, I mean, once you get the bit between your teeth, you know, I mean, it can just fly out. And that's usually the way. They're usually the songs that I prefer are the ones that are written in the one go. You know what I mean? I find often if I have to go back to a song, you know, I mean, I keep working at it, I generally lose the spark.
Oh, okay.
For it, you know what I mean?
So it comes or it doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so run down those 4 tunes you wrote. Run down those 4 tunes you performed for us.
Well, I started off with Another Term Up in the Doll. Then I followed that up with All Right Son, which is a song of immigration, and I wrote that after I took a trip down to Washington D.C. with about 3,000 of my fellow compatriots from all over this country, and we were down there to lobby on behalf of an immigration bill that Kennedy and John McCain were after bringing forward, you know. So we went down and we were told to go over to the Houses of Congress and speak to as many politicians as we could, which we did to the best of our ability.
So 3,000 of you walked over?
And they utterly ignored us to the best of their ability.
All right.
And that's pretty much how, you know, we felt about it. So the germ of this song really happened on the bus on the way back to Boston.
Well, you got a song out of it.
Drive. And luckily now, my friend Jerry Murphy was on the bus, so he had out with the flutes and the whistles, and I had the guitar and that, and we just sang all the way back to Boston. And then after I got back, I wrote All Right Son and Illegal in America. And you know, I mean, that's, you know, so usually there's some sort of inspiration that happens, You know what I mean? Whether it's an event that happened or whether it's something that somebody.
Yeah, and that
said
was
to me,
quite
you
a
know?
story. So
And then Turn It All Around was written again very, very quickly, but that was written a lot earlier. And it was just when I was looking at conditions on the planet, I just say, where are the leaders? You know what I mean? Where are all the great men that used to lead us, you know what I mean, and used to be our guiding lights, you know what I mean? I just couldn't see, and I still can't see anybody, you know what I mean, that's capable of sorting everything out. But I always feel that there's always a bit of hope, you know what I mean, that you can always turn it around. You know, we haven't gotten, we're getting close, very close to the edge, but we haven't gotten there just yet, so we can still turn it around.
And so how would you, so your songs definitely tell a story, they're inspired by your life events, and how would you characterize your solo sound? So it's like sort of an upbeat American Irish folk, because you're telling a story, you've got the folk chords in there. Would you say there's a genre that you fit into? If I said, go see Colm O'Brien, he's a great...
No, I don't characterize it at all. And I suppose if you wanted to put a blanket description on it, you know, I'd probably be a folk singer.
Okay.
You know, but again, well, a lot of the way I write is in the Irish traditional style, because that's the form that I'm most familiar with.
Okay.
Because I've been listening to it since I was a very, very young child. And so I find that it's a very natural way of telling a story. So that's usually where I begin.
Well, let's hear a few more stories.
Sure.
And you know what? Well, I'll come back and I want to talk to you about how you learned about music and all that.
No problem.
All right. Colm, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you indeed.
Oh man, it's fantastic. Great sound.
We'll give it a go again.
All righty. Colm O'Brien on 502 Sessions.
Inasmuch as I wrote this next song for my own father, I like to dedicate it to fathers everywhere. It's a song called The Gift. Well, the melody of some old tune comes drifting towards my ears. A melody that takes me back through all my living years, to pipes and drums and carnival and a smartly turned out band. And my father in the front line as they marched towards the stand. My father played the sweetest tunes to thunderous clap and cheer. The music touched the very heart of any who could hear. He played with such a passion, you could reach inside your soul and take it to the kind of place you could only dream you'd go. When I look back on all the things me dad would do for me, with all his good example for a decent man to be. My father taught me right from wrong and all that's in between. But music was the greatest gift my father gave to me. Well, the wisdom of his spoken word would nestle in my mind. The magic of his melodies would settle deep inside. To teach a kid what's good and bad comes easy to the wise. But wise it is indeed to nudge your passion in a child. When I look back on all the things me dad would do for me, with all his good example for a decent man to be. My father taught me right from wrong and all that's in between. But music was the greatest gift my father gave to me. And when I look now into his eyes, I see what I could be. A man of pure integrity and simple honesty. I see more than I'll ever know, but maybe that's the plan. A wealth of good instruction in becoming my own man. Hey! When I look back on all the things me dad would do for me, with all his good example for a decent man to be. My father taught me right from wrong and all that's in between. But music was the greatest gift my father gave to me. so steeped in music from the days when I was young. My father, mother, kids and all could all belt out a song, and the melodies and harmonies resounding clear and bright. It awoke in me a passion, that's the essence of my life. Hey! When I look back on all the things me dad would do for me, it's always a good example for a decent man to be. My father taught me right from wrong and all that's in between. But music was the greatest gift my father gave to me. When I look back on all the things me dad would do for me, it's always a good example for the decent man to be. My father taught me right from wrong and all that's in between. But music was the greatest gift my father gave to me. Hup.
This next song I'd like to do for you concerns an issue that is directly affecting the Irish community in this country. This one's called Illegal in America, and it goes like this.
Fall the tickler, fall the tickler, fall the tickler day. Fall the tickler, fall the tickler, fall the tickler day. We built your homes and bridges and your mighty cities too. We mind your little children and we mix your drinks for you. And all that we are asking is a very small reward. For God's sake, let us please apply to have a new green card. But the Irish are illegal in New York this very day, and Boston and Chicago and the San Francisco Bay, and Cleveland, Kansas City, Philadelphia, PA. The Irish are illegal in America today. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. So many US presidents from Irish roots they grew. The father of your navy was a mighty paddy too. We fought in all your battles and we've died for this great land. When Uncle Sam can call and dear old Paddy lent a hand. But the Irish are illegal in New York this very day, and Boston and Chicago and the San Francisco Bay, and Cleveland, Kansas City, Philadelphia, PA. The Irish are illegal in America today. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. With Irish toil, the roads are built and so the railways too. We mind your gold and silver and we farm the land was true. We both require each other, so we stand a hand and say we all can work together in this grand old USA. But the Irish are illegal in New York this very day, and Boston and Chicago and the San Francisco Bay, and Cleveland, Kansas City, Philadelphia, PA. The Irish are illegal in America today. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. Well, we're not asking for your charity, not begging from your hand. We want a life of freedom and with dignity to stand. We want to build this country like our fathers did before. Make sure our old relationship lives on forevermore. But the Irish are illegal in New York this very day, and Boston and Chicago and the San Francisco Bay, and Cleveland, Kansas City, Philadelphia, PA. The Irish are illegal in America today. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. Fun the tickler, fun the tickler, fun the tickler day. Up. Little John came home to face his family one night, and he had taken on a couple of drinks to set his mind to right. For the news that he was bringing was to change their lives for good. and he tried to tell them nicely, find the best words if he could. He rehearsed his big announcement as he stood outside the door, and his wife was summoned softly while his kids played on the floor. When he gazed into the window at this world he would destroy, he remembered an old ballad that he learned when just a boy. We had a mortgage to pay and with 6 mouths to feed. How am I to see to what my family needs? I'll take up me old guitar and I'd play wide and far, and I'd sing against the corporation's greed. He wept as he related to the news to him was told, that the busman dealt the bullet with a voice so sharp and cold. Then sizing and outsourcing were 2 words that he had used. When little John protested, his objections were refused. Well, the news thus being delivered, they were marched towards the door with kindly leave the building, you don't work here anymore. And thank you for the service that you've given through the years, and the social welfare system will assist to dry your tears. We had a mortgage to pay and with 6 mouths to feed. How am I to see to what my family needs? I'd take up me old guitar and I'd play wide and far, and I'd sing against the corporation's greed. Little John departed with his comrades close in tow, and after 18 bloody years he left with nothing much to show for all the dedication that he'd given to the job, without a golden handshake or redundancy few bob. Farmer once was his position was consigned to foreign shores, and the busman got a raise for exploitation of the poor, and the holders of the shares received a handsome little check, while little John and Co were left to ponder what was next. We had a mortgage to pay and with 6 mouths to feed. How am I to see to what my family needs? I'd take up me old guitar and I'd play wide and far, and I'd sing against the corporation's greed.
This next song is called The Big Banker Man.
Well, I married me sweetheart in the warm summer time, our 2 lives been destined for one. And after the year I'm delighted to say we welcomed our firstborn son. We settled ourselves into family life, and we worked for a place of our own. We bought a fine house, one of our dreams, and we prayed that our struggling was done. And I got me a job at a small company, and the money began to roll in. And my sweetheart worked part-time 3 days a week, and this looked like a fight we could win. The future looked bright and we made a few plans to improve on the state of our lot. And the son had turned 4 and his sister turned 2, and we worked hard for all that we got. Well, I tried and I tried to pay what I owe, I put myself down to the bone. But the big banker man with his bailiffs in tow said this house is no longer your home. This house is no longer your home. We each had a car and the kids in good schools, and as tough as things were, we were fine. We worked hard at our jobs and we always ensured that the mortgage was paid up on time. Then the hammer blow came when the manager said that my job was being taken away. The company was folding as credit was tight, and the gates had been house in that day. Well, I've tried and I've tried to pay what I owe. I've worked myself down to the bone. But the big banker man with his bailiffs in tow said this house is no longer your home. This house is no longer your home. All my friends and me family rallied around and all did their best to support. And my wife took on extra to lighten the load as we struggled to hold down the fort. But the letter arrived from the big banker man demanding his money on time. As we fought tooth and nail to hold on to our home, my poor wife went out of her mind. Well, I've tried and I've tried to pay what I owe. I've worked myself down to the bone. But the big banker man with his bailiffs in tow said this house is no longer your home. This house is no longer your home. Well, I begged and I begged with the big banker man not to put us all out on the road. And I told him that when I could find work to do, I'd pay him back all that I owed. But the big banker man was in no mood to hear the pleas that fell on his deaf ears. And he took away all of our hopes and our dreams that we struggled for all of those years. Well, I've tried and I've tried to pay what I owe. I've worked myself down to the bone. But the big banker man with his bailiffs in tow said this house is no longer your home. Well, I've tried and I've tried to pay what I owe. I've worked myself down to the bone. But the big banker man with his bailiffs in tow said this house is no longer your home. This house is no longer your home.
.502 Sessions with Colm O'Brien. That was a great song that you wrote for your father and all fathers.
Thank you.
That's very touching and teaching you right from wrong, and I'm sure you always did the right thing, right?
Oh God, no. That's why I needed a father. You know.
So is your father alive? Were you able to play?
Yes,
You played that song for him. He knows it.
Oh yeah.
So how did you learn how to play? Your family's been playing for generations, so you've heard music from a wee.
Oh, I mean, it's always been a part of me for as long as I can remember. You know, I mean, my mother sang in the local church choir. She's a fabulous singer. But most of it comes from my father's side because that really does go back generations. My father was a great piper, as was his father. And his granduncles, they were all members of the Fintan Lalor Pipe Band.
So your great-grandfather, your great-granduncle, that would be?
My great-grandfather was a founding member of the Fintan Lalor Pipe Band, so he knew James Connolly and Jim Larkin, you know, I mean, and those guys. And then my father played in the band, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, I had 2 or 3 granduncles and cousins that played in the band, but my grandmother was a wonderful fiddler. And she played at every All-Ireland and World Championship dancing competition for 50 years.
In the band, for the dancers?
She used to play for the dancers. She was playing for Michael Flatley when he was winning all his titles when he was a kid.
Oh,
you know, I mean,
yeah, the band makes him look great.
Well, the reason that she was always employed was because she had perfect timing. And when you're dealing with dancers, you've got to have perfect tempo, you know. So that was a big part of the reason why, you know, she was chosen to do it. But she was a remarkable musician. And to be able to do that for over 50 years, you know, is a remarkable achievement in itself. And then through that line, it goes right all the way back. So there's always been music in the family.
And your style here, I mean, it's folk style. You're using the guitar as a chordal instrument with the melodies, but also it's really also a percussive instrument for you here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the way I treat it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can bang that thing out of tune.
Yeah, well, actually, this is a relatively new guitar to me, but most of them usually wind up with holes here, there, and everywhere. All my guitars wind up looking like Willie Nelson's.
Oh, there you go.
at the end of it, because they do take a pounding. You know, because I mean, particularly when you're solo, you do, you know, I mean, the percussive element, you know, I mean, always helps.
Well, it sounds great. Yeah. So
thank you very much.
All right, how about some more music? So you've got a few more tunes for us?
Got a couple of more.
All right.
No problem.
Colm O'Brien.
This next song is about all the things that can happen behind your back as you're waiting for your pint of Guinness to settle. One thing about drinking Guinness, it makes you a very patient drinker. This is a song called The Brown to Black.
A hard new day is over, you're heading for the pub with O'Malley is from Wexford and what's his name, the dub. The match kicked off a while ago to miss is a sin, and the lads give you the thirsty look to get the gargle in. The telly's in the corner, you strain your neck to see there's far too many people, why weren't you there at 3? You turn to face the 7 points while gasping for the sub. You hope that nothing happens before the time is up. Well, the sudden roar assaults your ears, you're missing all the crack. And the greatest cold in history is the brown turns into black. She walks into the barroom and glides across the floor. That girl you dreamt to chat about 1,000 times before. But the barman starts another pint, you hope it settles quick. This woman waits for no man as the clock begins to tick. She surveys her surroundings, she spotted you, you think. It's then that you remember, you're waiting for your drink. You turn to face the barman, you look at him with fear. But your pint is almost ready, your chance is almost near. But she's leaving with another man, she won't be coming back. The woman of your dreams is gone as the brown turns into black. The many say your chance is gone and never will return. Whatever's meant will come to you before the day is done. So take your time and look around at all that's going on. The race might make you wealthy, but it isn't too much fun. Everything begins to blur as the world goes passing by. Sometimes it's best to shut it out, and there's many reasons why. If we all decide to move so fast, we'll never know what's real. Like a pint of Basin Porter and an hour or two to steal. The chairman of the board can make the politicians too. They suck the life right out of you if you permit them to. So tell them all to hold a while there's other things to do. Like taking time you give to them and spending it on you. So grab the nearest bar stool and smile as you sit back. The world will have to wait for you as the brown turns into black. The world will have to wait for you as the brown turns into black. And let me be there. Hold on, me heart so low if you won't let me be there. Hold on, me heart would go wherever you might be there. What would you do if I told to you? Would I give my love to you, dear? What would you do if I told it to you? Would you call me such a failure? Hold on, me heart so low if you won't let me be there. Hold on, me heart would go wherever you might be there. What would you do if I came to you with a fine bright golden ring there? What would you do if I came to you when I make you pure heart sing there? Hold on, me heart so low if you won't let me be here. Hold on, me heart would go wherever you might be there. Up da diddly da diddly da diddly dum da. Up da diddly da diddly da diddly dum da. Up da diddly da diddly da diddly dum da. Up da diddly da diddly da diddly dum da. What would you do if I said to you, I would take you for my bride, dear? What would you do if I said it to you, would you try to run and hide, dear? Hold on, me heart so low if you won't let me be here. Hold on, me heart would go wherever you might be, dear. What would you do if I came to you with a fortune, house and land, dear? What would you do if I came to you, would you take me by the hand, dear? Hold on, me heart so low if you won't let me be here. Hold on, me heart would go wherever you might be there. Up da diddly da diddly da diddly dum da. Up What would you do if I run from you? Would you rise and follow me there? What would you do if I run from you? And I'm not there much to you there. Oh no, me hat so low if you won't let me be there. Oh no, me hat would go wherever you might be there. Oh no, me hat so low if you won't let me be there. Oh no, me hat would go wherever you might be there. Da diddly da diddly da diddly da. Up da diddly da diddly da diddly da. Up da diddly da diddly da diddly da. Up da diddly da diddly da diddly da. Oh!
This next song is called A Tale of Indifference.
She looks up and cries, a young girl of gold and alone. Dejected and angry, she's nowhere to turn. She's someone we don't want to know. How could we be so cold? Her story is no one told. Love to be like us, but our hearts are cold. She tries to reach out in despair. She runs to our door, but we slam it before her. She tries to forget we don't care. Her hopes and her dreams have been sold. Her story is now going. See her, we turned a blind eye. We pass as though she wasn't there. She only wants shelter and someone to love her, and yet she knows our hearts don't care. She knows she's the one that's abused. She knows she's the one that And this next song I'd like to do for you was written after an uproarious session in the Blue Light pub in Dublin. This song is a tribute to Arthur Guinness, and it's called The Ballad of Uncle Arthur. And it goes like this. Friday night and the thirst is biting bad. So in goes I to me local where I met with Jack the lad. He grabs me and he says that a Glenfield lag is given out. I will in me ear says I to him, I love a pint of stout. I love a nice pint of black with a creamy up top. You could offer me any other beer, I wouldn't touch a drop. If this is the only beer in the world, I couldn't give a damn. Jesus bless you and the Guinness, you're the blessed saint of a man. Hey. Saturday noon, the day was quiet, so I thought I'd take a stroll. And I came to rest the hostelry that was owned by Mick O'Toole. Suspected the bar that day that you should appear your only man. I will in me ear says I to him, I love a pint of plain, I love a nice pint of black with a creamy up top. You could offer me any other pain, I wouldn't touch a drop. If this is the only beer in the world, I couldn't give a damn. Jesus bless you and the Guinness for the blessed saint of a man. Well, Jack McGuire's a friend of mine, he can't get nothing right. He come down to mix me drinks with me on every Sunday night. Construction talent says right to him just for a bit of crack. Get up for your arse, you silly, I'll get and buy us a pint of black. I'd have a nice pint of black with a creamy up top. You could offer me any other beer and I wouldn't touch a drop. If this is the only beer in the world, I couldn't give a damn. Jesus bless you and the Guinness for the blessed saint of a man. The world's supply of Guinness was drying up. With a tear in me eye, I went to the pub to look for one last sup. Oh, Mick at the bar was taken aback as I poured me poor heart out. Well, that's all me arse has sent to me, and pull me a pint of stout. I'll have a nice pint of black with a creamy up top. You could offer me any other beer and I wouldn't touch a drop. If this is the only beer in the world, I couldn't give a damn. Jesus bless you and the Guinness for the blessed saint of a man. I'll have a nice pint of black with a creamy up top. You could offer me any other beer and I wouldn't touch a drop. If this is the only beer in the world, I couldn't give a damn. Jesus bless you and the Guinness for the blessed saint of a man. Jesus bless you and the Guinness for the blessed saint of a man. Up, up.
Colm, 502 Sessions, it was great to have you in. Colm O'Brien, he's been here on 502 Sessions, original Irish music. Right, original Irish music. That Uncle Arthur, I'm getting that Uncle Arthur just from hearing the tune. So is that your favorite tune, Uncle Arthur, or is that your favorite uncle, I should say?
It's one of them because, now that's another one of those that was written in about 10 minutes.
Wow.
And it just wrote itself.
Well, I appreciate you coming up to do the show today.
And thank you very much indeed.
502 Sessions, 502sessions.com. You can check out more shows there. You can contact me directly at 502sessions@gmail.com. 502 Sessions is all about giving musicians an opportunity to showcase their original music. So if you're a group, a band, a solo, duo, quartet, whatever, we've even had an orchestra in here, and you have some original music that you think might be a good feature show, please get in contact with me. I check out all links and I respond to all emails. I'd like to thank our two interns for this shoot today, Michael Venti on camera, Annie Reardon also on camera. You guys did a great job. I hope you learned something and had a good time. And I've been remiss, I should also thank Evan McNamara. He's been with me since the beginning of 502 Sessions over a year ago, and he keeps me technically correct and helps fix all of my mistakes, which there are plenty of, so he's a busy guy. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Colm, once again.
Thank you indeed.
Do you have a song to play us out?
I have an instrumental that we'll play out with. It's a piece called Crookie's Lament.
Crookie?
Crookie's Lament, yeah. And I'll give it to you now.
Thank you. Colm O'Brien.
Well, the melody of some old tune comes drifting towards my ears. A melody that takes me back through all my living years, to pipes and drums and carnival and a smartly turned out band. And me father in the front line as they marched towards the stand. My father played the sweetest tunes to thunderous clap and cheer. The music touched the very heart of any who could hear. He played with such a passion, you could reach inside your soul and take it to the kind of place you could only dream you'd go. When I look back on all the things me dad would do for me, with all his good example for a decent man to be. My father taught me right from wrong and all that's in between. But music was the greatest gift my father gave to me.